and welcome to the Goodwood Motor Circuit. Today's video is going to be all about Group C Jaguars. This is what I'm here for. Group C Jags is where I'm at. It's my one main passion when it comes to cars. I don't know where it all came from, but Jaguars from the sort of 80s into the 90s at Le Mans, it doesn't get any better for me. This is my number one car passion. So let's take a look at them. I will get very nerdy. This first one is probably my favourite. This is the original TWR Group C Jaguar. This is the XJR-6. There was an XJR-5, but that was just a kind of hodgepodge steel aluminium car. This is the first carbon fibre monocoque. Completely revolutionary compared to, say, the Porsche 962s or the Saubers at the time. So this is a 1985-86 car, a 6-litre V12 based on the 5.3 that you find in the road-going Jaguars, and it's in this absolutely stunning and way more chill green Castrol livery. Everyone thinks of the Group C Jags as the silk cut Jaguar, but they started as Castrol, and I actually prefer this. It's so clean. Driven by Martin Brundle and Mike Fackwell. It's my favourite. It was the OG, and yes, the 1988 XJR-9, that was the Le Mans winner. The 90 car, XJR-12, another Le Mans winner, but this one does it for me. Now, on to the actual silk cut Jag. There should be three. One's just gone to refuel, I think, but these two here. Chassis number 187, 287, and then 387s. Away should be back at the moment. So these cars were built in 1987, so chassis number 1 and 2 of 87, 187, 287 is as was. So this is an XJR-8. The other two, this one and the one that's away, got upgraded to XJR-9s for 87 into 88 into 89. So these cars here have a bit more power. The race happening. This car here is a bit more power, a bit more aero compared to the XJR-8. And then another cool thing to differentiate the two, this has what's called the sprint headlights. So tiny little headlights that were used for sprint racing. So stuff like 6 hours, 1,000 kilometers, that type of thing. This car has the classic Le Mans endurance headlights. You've got the double headlights here, nice big cool. And these were used so you could see at night at Le Mans for the proper 24-hour races. If everyone looks at this, they think XJR-9, and it's what it is, but it started off as an 8. Absolutely stunning. So these cars, in period, ran about 700 horsepower. I don't think they're quite that highly tuned, maybe I'm wrong, probably about 700, maybe 750. This one here, slightly smaller engine, the one I would go for, but slightly less powerful, and actually it's had problems today. They only managed 2 laps. And the reason they're all here is they're doing a Tom Walkinshaw Racing tribute. I'm not sure which anniversary they're going for. Maybe the 1990 Le Mans wins, 30 years since they won at Le Mans the second time. That's a war stuff going on. It's not just these cars are ran by Moto Historics. They are the leading Group C mechanics basically. But elsewhere, I'll take a look at some of the V6 cars, the V6 twin turbos. There's other V12s, there's Brundle's lovely purple XJR-12 just around the corner. And I think there's another XJR-8 on the other side. So they're all here. This is by far the biggest collection of TWR Jags you will ever see. A development that you can see from the early Group C Jags to the later ones is the intake for the engine. You've just got this mesh into those glorious V12 trumpets there. Well, if you look at the later cars, you can see they've just taken this wonderful divot out of the roof and it channels down through the filter into the trumpets below. You can't really see there's some heat proofing in through there. And then another aspect that all these cars are running they are all running their sprint spec rear wings. So nice big end plates and then dual element wing. And if I come to the side, you can see they're just proud of the shape of the bodywork. Now the reason these are the sprint wings is because the Le Mans wings, the endurance racing ones, they are flush with the bodywork. So much smaller end plates, much smoother, and it's almost like a continuation of the bodywork down here. And that actually means that the exhausts interact with the rear wing, which actually increases downforce. How about that? This is the car that I have a couple of stunning models of back home. Jaguar XJR-11s. This is the V6 twin turbo car. And what's quite cool that you don't get to see too often is it's not got its rear wing on. What does a Group C car look like, I guess, if it was kind of road car-esque and didn't have massive aero on the back? There it is there. And what I find really cool, look at these silk cut Jaguar gas canisters. I want a pair of them. So these guys are just warming up to go out on track for the TWR celebration, but I want to know from you guys, which one do you think is prettiest? Which livery? They're all effectively the same car. Do you prefer silk cut, the Budweiser, Bud Light, or Castrol? I must say for me, especially on the XJR-11s and 10s, it's the silk cut. I actually think that the V6 TWR prototypes are prettier than the V12 ones because they're much sleeker, because they don't need to fit a massive V12 in the back. Look at the size of this engine, it's tiny. And it's nice and low, compact. I am doing my research about these engines because everyone says this and the XG220 had basically a turbocharged version of the Metro 6R4 V6, and I don't think that that is strictly correct. It might be, but there could be a video coming soon on Drive Tribe that kind of debunks that myth. The way that you distinguish the V6 Group C Jags versus the V12s is, well, one, the profile is slightly lower because you don't need to fit a V12 in, but the obvious ones are these ducts. So this duct on the side, that feeds the turbocharger, and then this one up the back is a brake duct. So you can actually see some of the turbo gubbins just on the other side of that duct there, and then duct like that. Oh, they're starting up the V6. Perfect timing. We've got the three V6 cars there. We've got one of the V12 cars over here in silk cut livery. And then we've got another V12. This one over here is actually an XJR-12. One of the very late cars, 1990. In the purple silk cut livery. And then over the other side, just over the other side of those grey paddocks, is the full lineup. Look at the colour of this thing. It's not the silk cut livery that everyone remembers, but wow. Ditching the white, ditching the gold, and just going with that purple, or mauve I think is the official name for the colour. Some pretty meaty names drove this car. Can't really see much, sorry, in there. You can really see the difference between the V6 and the V12 cars up the back here. This huge big bulge to fit that V12 under the engine cover. And it also meant these cars didn't create quite as much downforce as the V6 cars, because the V12 kind of took up space. So the Venturi tunnels can't be quite as big, but still, they are pretty meaty back here. And corresponding with this massive rear wing. Dual element on this car. What's quite cool, I'm into my golf. This car was sponsored by Titleist, the golf ball maker. Well, golf equipment maker, I should say. It's got the spats on, yeah. This is pretty special. This is a moment I will never ever forget. I'm currently sitting in the 2016 Le Mans winning Porsche 919 Hybrid. Panamola's just driven past. I've got Group C Jaguars revving behind me. Today's just unbelievable. I cannot explain how tight it is in here. I've got the door just ajar because I don't want to close it fully. But the window is right here. The roof is right there. It is so cramped in here. Driving this for 24 hours, I know you're in stints, but even a 2-hour stint, 3-hour stint in this, unbelievable. With that hugely vibrating V4 engine behind us, hybrid at the front, hybrid at the back. So special. I'll probably never get to do this ever again. I just chatted to Neil Yanni about this car, the guy that drove it to its victory in 2016, and he said it is the best car he's ever driven, full stop. And sitting in it, I can totally believe him. I'm sitting almost horizontal. You got this tiny little windscreen, and then either side you got these big square arches with the tyre just poking out the top. I don't really know what to say, but we've just filmed with the 919. We're going to be doing more of that over the weekend. But just behind me, all the Jags have assembled. All the Group C Jags. Got Silk Cut just there, the Bud Light, another Silk Cut there, the two V6 cars. Then we've got the V12 there. Absolutely outstanding. And just chilling behind us filming. Goodwood is insane. We're in the holding paddock now, and one thing that makes the XJR-6 really stand out against the other Jags, which you can actually see right now, is the doors. XJR-6 had Gullwing doors, you see propped up by this pole here, and the reason they switched from these to them, I guess, what do you call these? Are these butterfly doors, I think, now on the later cars? was because these were susceptible to blowing open at really high speed. So once this thing's over 200 miles an hour, these doors used to start flapping and then completely rip themselves off. It just wasn't the most ideal design. And I've actually seen the mechanics opening and closing these, and they're just not the easiest things to operate, really. So very quickly, that was 1986, 85, 86, very quickly changed to hinging the doors here. And they went along with that ever since. Mr. Franchitti getting prepared to go out in this, so that's chassis 287, so this is the XJR-9. Pretty sick helmet. It's Moto Historics that look after these cars, well, most of them, and this one in particular is absolutely immaculate. Chassis 287, so sorry, this one is actually the XJR-8, and it is absolutely mint. I can guarantee this is going to be the largest selection of Group C Jaguars I'll ever be amongst. It's only at places like Goodwood that things like this can really happen. What's really quite odd is they're playing all these adverts on the loudspeakers to no one. So weird. You're so used to seeing Goodwood packed. This banking, this is just at the first corner, end of the pit straight. And I'm one of 4 people in the entire area. All these MasterCard adverts and Bentley adverts and Rolls Royce adverts, they're going out to no one. There's Cool, and then there's Martin Brundle chilling with his old XJR-6 / all the silk cut Jags that he drove. What a man. This is the Arrows A11 that won the shootout. And look at the transport wheels it's got. They almost seem like bicycle tires on this thing. I'd like to see 700 horsepower on this Ford V8, trying to go through those. What's been really great, but also slightly weird about this event, is that sometimes the paddock is completely deserted. It is 2:30 in the afternoon, and if this was a normal revival or festival of speed, the place would be packed. But when there's a race on and everyone's watching it, there's literally no one here. All the historic Porsches are just down there. And then we've got, what, a couple of Jag XJR-15s, AC Cobra, and then I've got my V6 TWR boys here. And we have them all to ourselves. It's, I guess, slightly tragic that this is the case. And I mean, props to Goodwood for even putting the event on with having no crowds. Just shows you how passionate this place is to keep the motorsport world going. And with that, Goodwood Speedweek is over. It's been an incredibly good one, but an incredibly weird one as well. We've created some really cool content, specifically with the 919, but it's been also amazing to see all the TWR cars here. I feel very, very privileged to have been invited to this event because there's not many people here at all. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you again next time.